Well, good afternoon. I do like my hat. Do I like my new hat? I like it. This is, I don't know if I really should do this, but this is the Freedom Factory. Align watches their stuff all the time. So yeah. He got me a hat. So anyhow, so not much has really went on today. It's just been kind of meh. I've been doing some cleaning, some reorganizing, I guess I should say. I don't really know how to say it, but I've thrown some things away that I did not want, or that I did not particularly want the kids to have, so I got rid of them. Yes, I'm a bad mommy, I know, but we are like busting at the seams with all of these random toys that they get out of like Happy Meals, and they play with them once and never even want to look at them again. Like, there's like no point in it. And so yeah. And also the toys that they broke that I've been meaning to fix, but I kind of not fixed them. I got tired of hoarding them, so I just threw them away. Yes, I know, bad mommy, I know, but it is what it is. So I've also been trying to do some research because I found another slightly different tortilla recipe that I'm going to try. So I found one, and it's been one, and that's been it. But it's been hit and miss. I've made them I think 3 times, and it's been like a hit and miss every single time. And last week when I made them, they were so hard. Like, I didn't change the recipe. Like, it was the same. I literally did everything the same. But once I cooked them and went to put all the stuff on it and fold it over to make it into a taco, they were so hard to where they broke in half. They're supposed to be soft tortillas, but they kind of came out to be like a hard shell. That's not what I wanted. So I've been trying to do a little bit of research on different recipes, different techniques, and I found this. I do believe that this is a Mexican lady. She is of some type of Spanish descent. Which one? Not really sure, but she is definitely of Spanish descent. And she has 2 or 3 different recipes, and using different ingredients and what each ingredient does differently, and yada yada yada. And so I'm going to use one of her recipes. The majority of hers, she uses some type of lard or shortening. I do not have that. And even the little grocery store that is right down the road is not gonna have that. So I would have to drive 30 minutes to go to Walmart, one of the mini Walmarts that's around here, to try to find that. And I'm not doing that. So I dug through her recipes, and I found one that she made with butter instead. So I am going to I'm going to use one of her recipes and kind of more follow her technique and how she did it, because the recipes that I've actually been finding off of Lemonade, and which is fine. That's where I found my Japanese milk bread recipe, and I absolutely love it. I would never do any other type of bread ever again. And the recipe that I had been using is from Lemonade, and it is very similar to the one that she has, like ingredients wise. Now, all of the recipes are gonna differ, like cup size, or this one calls for 4 cups to 1 cup of salt, and not a cup of salt, but as to where this one will, as like one recipe will call for 4 cups of flours with barely any salt and like a little bit of butter and like a cup of water, as to where the other recipe will be like 2 cups of flour with like 4 cups of water and like no butter. And so like they all vary ingredients wise, but these 2 recipes, the one that I've been using and the one I found today that I want to use, they're very similar ingredient wise, like what the ingredients are that you use. She does, the one I found today did have the extra ingredient, which was butter. And also, she also said that you could use like a vegetable oil or something like that if you didn't have butter, or shortening, lard, stuff like that. Like, she gave you some things that you could substitute for the shortening and lard if you needed to. And so, she also added a couple of extra steps in with hers that did not exist with the recipe that I've been using. They're very similar. The recipes and like just how you do it is very similar. But this lady, I'm gonna call her a Mexican lady, because I really do believe that she is Mexican. Her recipes are just, she has more steps, and she explained why she does these extra steps. And a lot of the comments are like, I've done it without doing these steps. And I've also done them while doing these extra steps. And I actually prefer the way they turn out better when you do these extra steps. These extra steps actually make sense. They're being crazy today. So, we're going to try it out and see how it works out. Now, I've already laid our chicken out. It is defrosting. I am going to wait a little bit. It's like 1 o'clock. So I'm going to wait until probably about 3 o'clock, or possibly even 4, to kind of start making it. Because I don't want to make them too early, because she also explained that if you did it, if you kind of make them a little bit too far ahead, that could be another reason why they get kind of hard and kind of crunchy and, stuff like that. So, and I also do think that part of my problem is a couple of different things. One reason why I think that mine is not turning out exactly how they need to is because I don't think they're wet enough. I think I'm adding a little bit too much flour, and so I'm making it a little bit stiffer dough than what it needs to be, because I'm trying to have it to where it's a little bit more like bread flour, like the dough, or the bread dough. And after watching her videos, that's not what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to try to kind of ease back on that, have it to be, because she said that you want it to be a little bit more sticky, which is something that I've not been doing, which I did not know. The other recipe did not explain any of that. And so I do think that is part of the reason. Another reason I think is I'm not making my dough balls big enough. I think I'm making them too small, because when I roll them out, they're so small. And so like I'm constantly like trying to like make them bigger, and I'm making them too thin, so they are kind of overcooking. And she did say that it was very easy to kind of overcook them, and if you do overcook them, it's gonna happen. They're gonna get kind of crunchy. So literally she said about maybe like 10 seconds on each side, and you should be perfect. Like, it's not gonna take long at all. So I think that is one of my problems, is the fact of I'm rolling them out too small. So when I actually roll them out flat, I'm trying to make them bigger size, you know, like bigger than my hand. You know, I want them to be bigger than my, you know, I want it to be a normal size tortilla, and I'm trying to make it be there when there's not enough dough, if that makes sense. Because when I'm rolling them out, they're just so small, and I'm like, oh, and so I think I'm making them too thin. So this time, I think there's a couple of changes that I'm going to make besides the recipe. And one of them is since I actually could see her and watch her do the recipe and how her dough looked when she went to roll them out into little ball doughs, or dough balls. Since I saw it, I'm going to try to mimic that. Try to make mine to be a little bit more wet and sticky versus what I've been doing. Also, making the dough balls bigger to where when I roll them out, they will actually be a decent thickness while being a decent size and diameter. So, and then of course with that, also my heat I might not be having my pan as hot as I should. Because she did talk about that as well. So I'm going to make sure that it's hot. And the original recipe that I have been using, she said add a little bit of oil to your pan. This lady did not do that. She did not mention it at all. And when she used a couple of different things to cook hers in, like in a couple of her recipes, videos, I'll get it out in a minute. She used different things. Like she had this little griddle that was like circular, like a circular griddle. And then she had one that was the flat top, long, you know, rectangular griddle that actually comes with like the newer gas stoves, like in the middle. And so she used it on that. She also did one while it was inside of a pan. And out of all of those, she did not do that. So that could be another one of my things. Is because I was adding a little bit of oil to my pan before I started cooking. That's what the other recipe told me to do. So there are a couple of different things that I'm going to do to try to make them to where they're good and not crunchy, because Align doesn't want them crunchy. I don't want them crunchy either. But Align really wants me, like, he liked the taste of it. He really likes me making them from scratch. And so, and I mean, we only do this once a week. So, you know, I'm getting a little practice in once a week. And so, and she said that tortillas are they're a little bit more difficult to make. So it's going to take a lot of practice, and it's going to be a lot of failing. And she said, look, I grew up watching my abuela do tortillas from scratch, but doing it yourself is a lot different than watching someone do it. She's like, I grew up watching her. I grew up in the kitchen with her making these. She says, but it still took me a lot of time and a lot of practice to get it down for myself. And so she's like, so if you didn't have that growing up, she's like, don't worry, because I did. And I still screwed up a lot. And so that makes me feel a little bit better. Because even though I am married to a Cuban, he doesn't know how to cook. And, you know, I don't know if his abuela knew how to do tortillas from scratch. I really don't know. As far as I'm aware, she never did anything like that from scratch that I'm aware of. If I am wrong about that, let me know in the comments, because I know that they watch my videos so excuse me. But like, I know his mom doesn't and his sister doesn't. They do make meals from scratch, but when it comes to like tortillas and bread and stuff like that, they really don't. And so like they've had tortillas from scratch. Like, they know what it's supposed to taste like. Me, not so much. I just know what store-bought tastes like. So it's just going to take a lot of just a lot of practice and a lot of patience. And which is also going to be kind of hard because the kids being home from school, they're getting on my nerves. I am definitely ready for school to start back up, which I will say, I'm so excited. I registered Caleb for kindergarten this morning. I'm so excited. There should not be any issues. I don't know if there was any issues, when I would find out if there was any issues. Now I do know that there might be one form that they might have an issue with. They may or may not. They probably will, but it's okay. It would be a very easy fix. I did put a little note in there, so hopefully if they read that, they'll be like, okay, this is the reason why it looks kind of funky, yada yada yada. So, but Caleb, as of right now, until I hear otherwise, Caleb is registered for kindergarten. Elena is not. I do not know when they have not released the date yet for when registration for pre-K opens. I have to constantly go to our school's local Facebook page as well as the school's PTO page to constantly look for that date to be released. So most likely it will probably be sometime in July. That's what they were thinking, is that it would be possibly around the end of July, or sometime in July, which, I mean, my Lord, school starts back up at the beginning of August, so, they need to hurry up. With her, I know I will need more things for her that I won't need with Caleb, as far as I'm aware. Because for Caleb, for re-registering him, they didn't ask for any type of shot records. Which, if they do, it's not really going to show that he's completely up to date, because he will not get his 6-year-old shots until way after, like a month after school starts, because his birthday is not until September. So it's not going to show that he's up to date on his. But they are very understanding with stuff like that. With Elena, I was supposed to get a copy of her shot records when we were there a couple weeks ago. She told me not to forget, and I told her I was going to forget. I told her, I said, if you don't, I said, I'm going to forget. And I did. Because Kayla was acting up. Elena was very, very grumpy from getting shots, and I walked right on out of there and forgot. Which it would be no problem. I just message the doctor and tell her I need a copy of this. Can you already have a copy? Print it out and put at the receptionist desk. That way I can walk in, get it, and be done with it. And that way her shots will actually show that she's completely up to date on hers. Other than that, I really don't think that there's actually anything extra, really. I do know that I will have to actually go physically into the school and get a packet and fill it out for Elena. But I won't be able to do that until they open up the registration. So yeah. So, I've had to do a lot of things today, and I'm just tired. I honestly don't even feel like doing the tortillas, but Alain has been sick. He felt horrible yesterday. Oh my gosh. If y'all could see the look on his face yesterday when he left for work. Like, I was actually almost tempted to get his phone and text his boss on behalf of him and saying, he ain't coming in. He's staying home and getting some rest, dadgummit. But he started feeling a little bit better as the day went on. And he texted me and he's like, he sent me a picture. And I didn't know it at the time, because Elena's not really one for wearing hats. And so, but anyhow, he had this one, but he had it on backwards. And y'all, if Alain does wear a hat, he is not going to wear it backwards. even like joking wise, if he does, it's for like a couple of seconds and then he takes it off. He cannot stand it. But y'all, my husband is so cute with his hat on backwards. I'm just saying. I am just saying, there is something about the two males, that is my husband and his brother. There is something about their facial features. Both of them resemble, like when they're wearing hats, resemble a lot of the singer Nicky Jam. I don't know what it is, but they do. And my brother-in-law really does resemble him, like a lot. He's got the more, I don't know. It's weird. But when Elaine sent me that picture yesterday, I couldn't help but say, oh my gosh, he looks so much like Nicky Jam right now. And when he got home, of course, he was wearing it backwards. And I was like, I know that they say that your brother really looks. I said, but right now, where he's at right now in Nicky Jam's life, he's got a little bit of weight on him. His face is a little bit puffier. You know, he's got a little bit of chunkiness to his face. And since Elaine's got the more chunkier face, because his brother is very slim, very slender. So, like, his face is, you know, I said, because you've got the, chunkier face. Right now, Nicky Jim's got a little bit of weight in his face. I said, you look a lot like him right now. I said, you really just need to, dye your beard. And, yeah, And so, he was like, oh, no. I was like, I can't help it. Nicky Jim is a very nice-looking guy. I'm just saying, he is a very nice-looking gentleman. And I don't know what it is about the genes that's with the males in this family. But Elaine and his brother both resemble him so much, especially when they're wearing hats. When they are wearing hats, they resemble him so much. And it's awesome and kind of weird at the same time. But I digress. Hey, stop that yelling. They've been doing that mess all day. So, yeah. So anyhow, he took the hat off, and it was this one, and I'm like, what is FF? He's like, think about it hard. And I'm like, FF. And I'm like, okay, it's got to be something YouTube related. And I'm sitting here trying to think of, like, is it this one? No, that would be a T. It would be, no, that would be a C. Like, and I'm like trying to go through them all. And he said, well, look at this. And he had this little keychain thing that he had put on his backpack. And I read what it said. And I said, oh, dadgummit, this is Freedom Factory. And he's like, yep. So I was like, okay. I can do with that. I needed a plain black hat. I did. I've got a black and gray one. I've got a black and camo one that says Ford across because, well, one, I like camo. Two, I'm a Ford girl. Do not hate me. Do not come at me. I'm a Ford girl through and through. Always have, always will be. I'm just saying. There's a reason why we all own Fords. Right now, since my stepdad is nowhere to be found, good riddance. I should not say that. I'm sorry. Anyhow, he's also a Ford guy, and the Expedition was his, and he gave it to us when our Explorer broke down. And then Elaine had my old green truck. Like, we were Ford. My mom was the only one that never had a Ford. It's just, she's always liked Nissans. Well, right now, I don't know what kind she's got now. Some type of SUV. I don't know. But, Elaine likes Fords. He prefers Ford. But the guy that was selling his truck, or the one that he's got, the Dodge, it was such a great deal. And it happened, within, a week of the green truck breaking down. And it was too good of a deal not to pass up. And me, myself, I wouldn't have got it because Wayne, I mean, I don't mind Dodge, but Dodge is just not me. But it also doesn't have a back seat, so he can't take the kids anywhere. Stop yelling. And so, but even though that he can't take the kids anywhere, it's still a truck. It gets him to and from work, and it was such a great deal. He could not pass up on it. Like, even I'm sitting here going, okay, that's too good to pass up on. Hold that thought. So that's kind of like how we ended up with the Dodge. And so, but I mean, it is what it is. I got 2 Fords out here. One of them just doesn't run. It doesn't run. And I'm extremely upset about it. I would so love to be able to get the Explorer up and running. I would. That is a long time dream of mine, is to get my Explorer back up and running. Align actually cleaned out my trunk in the Expedition Saturday, and he took literally everything out. He took my stroller out. He took my bag, because I had 2 bags for consignment. I can only drop 1 bag off at consignment at a time. And so I took that, and I had both bags in there. I dropped one off, and I left the other one in there so I would have it if I ever remembered to take it. And so he took literally everything out of my trunk, including the stroller. And I'm like, dude, where's my stroller? I went to put my stroller back. And he's like, oh, well, I put it in the trunk of the Explorer just to kind of get it out of the way. I was like, okay. So I went out there, and I unlocked the door and tried to unlock the doors. Crazy me forgot that he disconnected the battery. So I couldn't unlock it to get my stroller out. So I told him he's going to have to do that. But the second I opened up that door, it was hot and stinky because we've not opened it. There was no reason to open it. It don't work. The transmission is completely shot. But I couldn't help but just get in, and I sat down, and I'm like, I miss this truck. Now, I love my Expedition, but I love and miss my Explorer so much. We've had a lot of memories with that Explorer, and my 2 fondest memories with that crazy truck is that's what we had when we brought both of the kids home from the hospital. And I know that that's silly, but it's just chalk it up to being a emotional woman thing. But I really did. I just sat in it, and I'm like, I miss you. I would really like to get you fixed up one day. And one day it might happen. Then again, it might not. Whatever happens, it will be the Lord will have to do it. If the Lord wants us to get it fixed, He's gonna have to open up a lot of doors, a lot of doors, before we can ever do anything like that. But I digress, and I'm rambling, and the kids are going crazy because they know I'm recording. They know I'm busy doing something, and so they're back there acting up because they don't think that I'm going to stop what I'm doing to go back there and get onto them. All kids do it. Mine seems to do it more than others. So I need to go take care of them because I'm listening to them. I know what they're doing, and if I don't stop it, somebody is about to get hurt. Okay. And not only that, apparently their movie just went off. So now I have to go take care of that problem as well. So with that being said, we were off, and we will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe so we can hurry up and get to our first milestone. That way we can do our giveaway. I've not forgotten. The second we get to our first milestone, which is 500 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway. So with that, we're off. We'll see you guys next time.